tells you what is in that box. The ant stick, it basically looks like a flash drive. You're going to plug it into the computer, pair up the watch, the computer, the whole bit, and you can actually set that up so anytime you walk past it, it's going to automatically pull your data and either send it to Garmin Connect or hold it to send to Garmin Connect. So it makes it a lot easier for people. You know, it's one less thing to worry about.
With that foot pod, is it submersible? So if you ran through a river or something like that, would it be fine or not?
It's an IPX7 waterproof rating. So the way, and it's the same waterproof rating as the watch. Extended time under the water is not encouraged. But the IPX says, 1 meter of water for up to 30 minutes, and it's fine. So if it's a shallow water, you're going to be fine. If it's very deep water where it's, waist high, don't spend a whole lot of time in there.
You say it's the watch meaning the 310?
All of them. Yeah, all of them are submersible. All of them are that water resistant rating. The 310, just some tweaks were made to actually make it swim proof.
So could you, if you're out in the FR60 or let's say the 305 starts raining on it, not the end of the world?
No. And I think you mentioned the shower. Anything on the fitness side, the shower really shouldn't be any problem at all.
Okay, cool.
So you said the IPX7 means it could be submerged a meter for 30 minutes and be fine.
Right.
That's all of them.
Yeah, everything we make, including the heart rate monitor. Again, with the heart rate monitor, there's the soft strap heart rate monitor, the premium. That's the only one that we definitely say go for long swims in it. Here it's kind of, it's waterproof, rain, sweat, shower. If you hop in a lake and hop out, or you're going for a slight swim, it's not going to be a big deal. Questions on the 60?
So how well, can we expect it to work, the heart rate monitor to work if you're swimming with your Garmin 310XC, pick up heart rate?
No.
Okay.
And that's just the wireless doesn't work underwater. It's the same thing, when you actually look at your swim in with the 310. Part of what we've done is just we've smoothed out the line, because what people would see is their swim would be a jagged line. That's the hand coming in and out of the water, because once that hand goes below the water, there's nothing we can do. The GPS will cut out. But when it comes out, it reacquires, and so that's kind of where that jagged can come from. What we've done is just the algorithm has been worked to smooth that out, so that you get more of a true straight line.
You'll still see if you swim way up.
Yeah.
But for those split second or 1 second intervals, it just records basically that blip in time and just fills it in to help smooth that pattern as much as possible.
Right. Because it can pretty much, the way the algorithm works is, you're doing this jagged line, it's going to it's just going to take an average almost, which the average should be pretty close to true anyways.
So just basically someone takes a bell curve of those plotted points.
Correct. And the way all of the watches record data is what we call a track log. And so they're dropping breadcrumbs as you're running, with the exception of the FR60 because it's not a GPS device. Each one of those little breadcrumbs, each one of those track points is just full of data. So anything that the watch can record, it does record at that point. Whether it's your current heart rate, your current pace, your current cadence, your current location, distance, time, and all of that data is there in the point, whether or not you actually have a data field set to record it. And then you can view all of that information, including your averages, once you upload it to Garmin Connect. All right. So the step up from the 60 would then be the 110. The 110, you'll notice, is a little bit larger, and that is because it is that GPS device, so there's more hardware within that watch. And like we were talking about, not compatible with the foot pod, not compatible with the cadence sensor, but it is compatible with the heart rate. This particular device is sold in 3 bundles. There's a unisex version, a male, and a female. Both the male and the female come with the heart rate monitor. The unisex does not come with a heart rate monitor, but is compatible. So you'll see people will buy that one if they already have a heart rate monitor, if they don't want a heart rate monitor. Or I've talked to people who they like the color more, so they buy that one, they add a heart rate monitor to it later. That particular one is the men's. The women's is a light gray with a pink stripe. The unisex is a black with a light gray stripe. So color can come into effect there. Other than the color though, the men's and the women's, it's the same size, it's the same weight, it is the same watch. It's just a different dyed color.
Should any Garmin watch work with any Garmin heart rate strap?
For the most part.
Okay.
When we go way back to the 301, those heart rate monitors do not work forward. Just like these wouldn't work with a 301. But starting with the 305, anything 305 or newer, they're interchangeable heart rate monitors. As well as the pods. The foot pods will interchange as well. So the 310 is going to be for that person who they really want a GPS watch. They want something that's very easy to use and that's going to give them accurate information. The 110 does not have what we call the virtual partner, which is in the 60. Basically, a virtual partner is, I want you to run this far at this pace, go. And then your little virtual partner on the screen starts running. And it tells you if you're behind or ahead of your partner. So it kind of helps people learn pacing. That's not going to be something that'll be on the 110. Interval workouts where it's going to tell you 30 seconds on, 1 minute off, whatever it happens to be. That won't be something that's here, but you can hit the lap button so you can record different laps at different intervals if you know what your intervals need to be. The 110 kind of came about because people loved the 405, but they didn't like necessarily having to go through and set it all up. It almost felt too much for them. It gave them so many options and so much information, they kind of recoiled at it. The 110 will still record most of that same data. It's just not always going to show it to you. And we don't have customizable data fields. You're just going to hit the page button. You're always going to see distance. You're always going to see time. But you go through, do I want to see pace? Do I want to see heart rate? And then it's just there. Again, it's still recording all that data. It's just a matter
You can
of...
always see 2 windows at a time, is what you're saying.
You're going to see 3 bits of information at a time. And those aren't changeable in any sort of way.
Oh, they're not.
No.
So what are they again?
What
Sorry.
did you get?
Distance, pace, and time.
Let me double check. Can I see it real quick?
I see more heart rate because
Yeah, so you've got time here. This is going to be pace, and this is distance. And then you've got pace, distance, heart rate.
Okay.
So you change your time and your heart rate.
Okay.
Also, the nice thing about the 110 is it is smaller hardware. So another thing that came up with the 405 is this watch is too big for me. You know, if you had smaller wrists, it wasn't necessarily comfortable because of the size. We did do a Velcro strap, but some people just wanted a smaller watch, and so that kind of filled that gap as well. Questions on the 110?
What's its battery life with the GPS?
With the GPS on, it's pretty comparable to everything else, that kind of 5 to 7 hour range. With the GPS off, you're going to get about 2 weeks. And again, with that one, it's just you go to the time and day page and it shuts it off. It does not shut it off immediately. And the reason for that is if you're hitting the page during a workout, we didn't want it to suddenly just drop out on you because you stopped for a second on that page. So it takes a couple of minutes. You know, the effects on the battery are